All right. So first of all, thank you, Alex and Mutu, actually for having me. I've been, seeing a part of the events as a viewer for last year, and it's actually awesome to participate. So thank you for having me. Also, what I wanted to say that it's actually very hard to follow on after drone deploy in Autodesk. Look, just in terms of intros, I've been doing kind of a GIS work and actually drones for multiple years. I spent almost 10 years on the construction sites of a large infrastructure project, so roads, highways, rail, gas installations, even stadiums, if you will. So I really spent this almost a decade in the mud. So the moment that the drones came in, was I know like 8 years ago, it was absolutely awesome. And to be honest, drone deploy was extremely crucial part of the whole journey for me and the teams I work with. So this is actually great to be here. So let me tell you, right now I'm a CTO of AI Clearing. I will show you a couple of slides in a second, and also a couple of dashboards. But basically what we do, we automate the progress tracking of construction. So we kind of try to streamline everything that's awesome about the drones, about digital designs, about digital schedules, like Excel. Apparently, guys, Excel is one of the most popular tools for scheduling even multi-million-dollar projects on the planet, which is absolutely insane, but it happens. So including schedules, including anything that we can actually take in. We are specializing for now, at least, on large infrastructure projects outside. So nothing as fancy as drone deploy is doing on the interior side, but actually doing the large projects. And there are a lot of them on the planet, and the issues, which is also very amazing, are pretty much the same. It doesn't matter if you're doing a project in Tokyo, in Kenya, or in LA. The problems are pretty much the same everywhere. And the drones coming in are a huge help to help doing this. Let me just share with you some slides, and we can take this forward. So, okay. So basically, right now what happens is that supervision of sites is very difficult. Even with the drones programs, with a lot of construction companies coming in, still a lot of work is being done by hand, which is very hard actually to verify. There's always a issue of trust, yeah, because basically if something is not database, there's always you need to trust someone or rely on someone else trusting him, which leads to a lot of issues, and starting from mistakes and ending with fraud. And actually what's amazing when you look at the from a business side, to be very practical here, the cost of rework, so actually wasted materials, time and effort, actually can amount up to between 4 to 8% of any budget of any given project, which is absolutely insane if you think of this. And all of this comes from actually incorrect or mistakes in supervision of the projects. So actually, if you even look at this right now, so if you have a quality surveyor on the site surveying, let's say, some overpass or anything like this, he would really, in real life, I know we have some quality surveyors here, but basically, what happens, you survey 5, maybe 10% with the stick, basically on the site, and it's very manual. So you try to write down, what's happening, but it's not a database. With the drones coming into the stage, we can actually accelerate. We can, Justin was showing amazing examples of, capturing the data on site, and this is exactly what's happening. However, the challenge is, and this is where we position ourselves and our solution, is the challenge is that you end up with this, petabytes of data. And we've been working with the clients that actually have great drone programs and they have tons of data, but they're lacking time, they're lacking expertise, they're lacking personnel actually to do the analytics, because at a certain moment you still have to do the quality survey. However, you're just moving into the office. And we thought that there is maybe a better way to do this, especially with the advancement of AI in computer vision happening in recent years, the computing power, the data sets, as I said, are there. So we just figure out the way how to do it in a different way. So right now, what you can see that we are able to get, for instance, for some clients, run daily inspections when they fly drones every day or twice a day, and we deliver the results super quickly, running everything in the cloud, covering 100% of the sites. And this is fully automated from the upload to their cloud or their solution, whether it's Drone Deploy or anything else, and we just pull it from there with some other data sources. So just to give you an idea what happens is that we take in the GIS and CAD data, we take any terms from contracts, so like all the crucial KPIs that are needed to be reported by the project managers. And of course, we take data from drones, which are super cool, and we love them. And also, they provide, especially with drones with RTK, as you might know, in recent years, the price of drones or RTK have dropped significantly, which led to, I would say, broader use of them, which also led to better data, basically, for us. So I will, in the next slide, I will show you what happens in kind of behind the scenes within the AI Heart here. But basically, what comes out is the progress confirmation for the client. So basically, very often the project manager or supervisor from an investor side or from a bank or insurance company, they're looking to have a number. What's the volume of earthworks that were conducted in the last week, or how many piles on the solar farm actually were planted yesterday? Because with solar farms, what's actually very interesting is that the pace is absolutely insane, especially start of the COVID when everyone started moving into this space. Moreover, we give information regarding the payment release. So should they release the payment? Was work completed on schedule? And we also we populate basically the BIM systems with data of actually as is, which is actually quite useful. What happens in the background is that we actually have this, five steps game happening. And just to let you know, our solution is basically seamless for the users. Look, I spent 10 years in construction sites, and there are a lot of guys who are very busy. They are sometimes they have too many tools that they are pressed to use, but headquarters. So we try to make it absolutely seamless. So what you see here, they don't see at all. So basically, they fly the drones, and I know in 1 hour after they upload, or 2 hours, or depending on the processing time, they actually get the reports back with the numbers. Sometimes they even get 5 numbers in an Excel file that have specified, or we push it to their BI systems, really depending on the version. So what's happening actually, this is what happens in the background. First of all, we make sure that all these different data sources that we pull in can actually talk to each other. And I hope everyone here on this call can appreciate how difficult it might be, and it is. So that's why we have actually a lot of those parts here are patent pending in Europe, in the US. So we actually make sure that all these data sources talk to each other. Secondly, we in this data modeling step, as you might know or not, AI is basically very stupid. Well, it's not stupid, it's very smart, but it's smart at solving certain very precise problems with the data presented in very precise way. So what happens data modeling, that we actually do any transformations or modifications to the data sets. So our AI Heart, we're gonna talk in the next step, is actually able to look at it and understand. For instance, CAD files, this is basically unreadable for any sort of AI computer vision module because they actually are lacking context. They're lacking information. They're just some lines in the black background with no georeference, for instance. Then what happens is our AI Heart. This is the module that looks at the whole, let's say 5 miles or 10 miles or what have you of a construction site, and identifies different class of objects. I will show you in a second how it looks. And basically, it marks with a pixel perfect accuracy using semantic segmentation models any class of objects. Right now, we have approximately over 60 of them. So it could be a pile, it could be sand, it could be concrete, aggregate, different types of earth, topsoil, foundation slabs, people, trucks, what have you. A lot of stuff, even like Larsen walls, so very specific technical aspects of the site. And what's also very interesting here that we included, we added a lot of value. So we really worked for a very long time with this, fueling with the huge data sets. So right now we are very fast to deploy with even new topics that come up. Like for last year, we started moving to solar. Then in step 4, we have something which is usually not as sexy as AI, but this is this huge geospatial engines that actually take all the data coming in. So let's say this pixel perfect allocated aspects of the site, and then push them through the whole analytics depending what KPIs we are looking for at the end. And at the end, we do the reporting because our clients need to see actually what's happening. And this is extremely powerful because we provide data, in the PDF reports. Apparently, construction industry, those guys sometimes need a piece of paper to go back and shout at someone, and it really works. So they need a PDF reports. We have a dashboards I will show you in a second, and we also push it to Power BI, or like we even push it to, for instance, Autodesk Assemble if needed, so our clients can utilize it to the full extent. So this is example. I'm sure some of you have seen, how the semantic segmentation models work, but basically, it's pretty much marks everything on the site. Every pixel is allocated. It has X, Y, and Z coordinates. It's allocated to different class. Sometimes we also have this, you have a piece of board laying on asphalt, so it identifies that it's a board, and this is asphalt, so we understand, that this is asphalt underneath as well. So we have several classes over each other. And of course, this imagine doing this by hand. Well, we actually know, because for training purposes, we did a lot of labeling by hand, and this is extremely painful to do by hand. That's why we have this whole AI in place to accelerate this greatly. We also identify discrepancies with the design. So if we have good designs with the proper geospatial reference frame, our engine is able actually to also understand if certain objects that AI is able to identify, walls, concrete slabs, foundations, pillars, stuff like this, we can actually say, okay, this is out of place. So following on something Justin was showing, this is, I think, the very interesting application of the data that you can gather and actually apply on an automatic way. And we get this a lot. And this is absolutely insane how many mistakes you can get on sites, even right now with the most advanced technology. The guys have lasers, stuff like this, and then you get mistakes. Something is half a meter off, or the volumes are absolutely different. So this is quite sometimes funny, and sometimes I'm a bit worried about quality of infrastructure that is being built when you look at the certain examples. And this is the last example of a solar farm that we were inspecting, and you can see the yellow ones were actually the piles that were completed, and the purple ones, as I see the correct color here, were actually that they were reported as built, but they weren't. So here we were able to help the general contractor actually talk to their subcontractor regarding how come they were reported as built and they were not. So here in this case, we help to capture a certain inefficiency in the process, because with solar farms, as you might know, the moment they dig in the first shovel in the ground, the energy is already sold. So any delays are actually super expensive for general contractors, and as I mentioned, those are very practical people, and they really hate the waste. And this is exactly this. So these are all the slides I have for you guys. I hope I have at least a few minutes left. So let me just show you example of very practical dashboards, so you can also enjoy this real quick. So this is example of a dashboard that we have, for instance, for a solar farm. As you can see, pretty much we have different classes. Pretty much these are the KPIs of different kind of stages of construction for different objects. With solar farms, it's quite, it might seem like super simple, but again, the pace of construction is super fast. So basically, we try to do, and we advise our clients to do inspections almost daily, at least weekly, because it's, to capture anything that's not in place. So I won't be clicking a lot because I'm afraid my connection will die immediately. So just to show you, this is basically, so we deliver very simple data, because at the end, again, construction people are very practical. So we need to show immediate value, how it actually, what's meaningful, basically converting all the beautiful images that orthos, DSMs, designs, converting them into very simple numbers. And for I'm sorry, let me just switch to another dashboard. And also, and this is very interesting, we're asked by our clients to deliver the value, showing, for instance, the earned value. So actually how those numbers that we say, that this is actually gas pipeline example. So you have, different activities like stringing, bending, welding, trenching, lowering and backfilling, stuff like this. And you can see immediately, the project managers can see immediately where stuff was delayed, when it's on time. And believe me, a lot of construction companies are actually using very old school PDF reports or Excel files, whereas here, this is something that really we got the, you always, when you go to a client, you want to get the wow effect. So with those guys, we actually get that, and this is quite amazing, and they can see immediately what's the progress, what's the earned value, and what was planned, and how they are actually performing. And this is quite interesting, where we started just with AI, and it's actually growing into this kind of I wouldn't say BI space, but definitely just a very simple and very practical reporting, because I think that's a core of our solution. Guys, I think this is it. So if there are any questions, I think I am on time. If there are any questions, I would be very happy to answer them.